Well, we begin this morning in the Middle East, where the region waits to see how Israel will respond to Tuesday's massive missile attack by Iran. President Biden has said he opposes retaliatory Israeli strikes on Iran's nuclear sites. Instead, new sanctions could be on the way after the president spoke with his G7 counterparts about coordinating a response to Iran. Meanwhile, Israeli forces continue their offensive against Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza. Overnight, Israel says it struck around 200 Hezbollah targets across Lebanon, while a strike in the heart of Beirut has killed at least 9 people. That's according to Lebanon's health ministry. Israel's military now says 8 of its soldiers died during intense fighting with Hezbollah militants since it launched ground operations inside Lebanon on Monday. And this morning, Yemen's Houthi rebels say they launched attack drones targeting Tel Aviv amid fears of a wider regional war. So for more on the escalating situation, I want to bring in CBS News foreign correspondent Chris Livesay. Chris, it's good to see you. What more are we learning now about what Israel may be considering in terms of its response to Iran?
Hey, Anne-Marie, I think the mood is that everything is on the table. This is a very serious attack that Iran launched against Israel. These were ballistic missiles that most of which were intercepted, but some were aimed directly at residential areas. So, the U.S. has made some efforts to calm things down in the past few months, really, but even as recently as last week, it was calling on Israel to come up with a ceasefire plan with its ongoing airstrikes in Lebanon. And then Israel responded by assassinating Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah. So it's clear at this point that Israel feels like it has the momentum and it doesn't want to take its foot off the gas, especially after this major provocation from Iran. So the mood here is simply a question of when and not if. Now, we are in the midst of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. It's certainly a time when most people would prefer to be spending time with their family, but Israel has a long history of being engaged in war on major holidays. There's the Yom Kippur War back in 1967, and of course, the October 7 attacks by Hamas also took place during an Israeli holiday.
What's the latest that you can tell us about on Israel's northern border with Lebanon?
Well, as you mentioned in your intro, 8 Israelis were killed in these cross-border limited incursions that, as Israel is calling them. These are some of the signs of a shifting war, one that has been mostly limited to airstrikes and the exchange of missiles. We're now seeing boots on the ground. Now, we saw Hezbollah's forces absolutely decimated. I mean, it was almost a Hollywood script that would have been rejected for just being so outrageous. It started with those exploding pagers, culminating in the assassination of Hassan Nasrallah, and now these ongoing airstrikes, which have taken out, according to Israel's estimates, about 50% of Hezbollah's rocket capabilities. So it's just astounding. However, this is a formidable organization, much, much bigger and better armed and better trained than Hamas. So even when you have a big organization that's been decimated like that, it's still pretty powerful, especially when you're dealing with them on their home turf. This is a group that has a reputation for using improvised explosive devices, suicide bombs, and they're very good at guerrilla warfare, and that's exactly what Israeli troops are stepping into.
Very good reminder, Chris. Thank you very much.